Good morning. There's a story I've told probably a few times now. It's a story that keeps coming back to me as one that's profound and deeply wise. It's a story of a man in a prisoner of war camp. And one day he goes out into the exercise yard and the prisoners are all out there wandering around in groups. He takes his guitar and he begins to strum and sing. And sing a song that's pure and sweet and beautiful, filled with peace and hope. And the prisoners gather round as he sways and plays and sings this song. And they too are caught up in the beauty and the wonder. And for a moment, they escape the confines of their prison and experience this freedom that this man knows. And this goes on for a little while, and the prison guards are becoming tensed and anxious, and they get word to stop this and to put an end to it. And so they take the man and they carry him out and they give him a good beating. They break his fingers, his hands, and beat him up. That'll finish it. But the next day, there he is, with his guitar and his broken fingers and his bruised body. And he starts to strum a little, move and sing in this pure and sweet voice, this beautiful song. And the prisoners gather round and they too sway and hum and move to the melody, caught up in its beauty and wonder. And again, they're transported out of this prison into a place of freedom and life that this man knows. And again, the prison guards are told to put an end to it properly, stop it. So they take him out and they break his guitar, smash it, and they cut his tongue out. He can't sing. And they leave him beaten in his cell. The next day, the man comes out again. His body bruised and broken, hands broken, tongue, no guitar. And there he begins to sway and hum to this tune he hears in his head. And then he begins to dance and dance. And the other prisoners gather around him and they too begin to sway and then to dance until the whole prisoner group are caught up in this song that he can hear and that they can now hear and feel in themselves. And again, they're transported into this place of peace and freedom and life outside the prison. And the prison guards are told to end it properly. So they take the man and they beat him mercilessly and break his legs and leave him this bloodied, beaten bundle lying in the middle of his cell, helpless and hopeless. The next day, friends carry him out, this disfigured, beaten, bruised body, and lay him gently down in the middle of the exercise yard. And there he moves his head in time to the song that he can hear, this pure and gentle song. He closes his eyes and there's this gentle, peaceful look as he sways to this music. And the prisoners gather round and they began to sway with him and they began to do the dance. And in him, out of him is this song and they feel it. And there's nothing the guards can do to stop it. This man knew peace. And when someone knows peace and freedom deeply within, nothing can contain them. No cell, no violence, no beating. Nothing can take that freedom, that peace, that life away. And this is what Jesus invites us into. This is the way that Jesus emulates in our world. He speaks of the way of peace, of life, of freedom, of justice, of hope, of love, and the flourishing of all people. None more so than the beginning of Matthew's story of Jesus, where Matthew portrays Jesus as this new and greater Moses. And there's so many connections he makes to the Moses story. For example, Joseph, who hears God speak in dreams. But at the beginning of the story, Jesus goes up a mountain, as Moses did after he led the Hebrew people out of Egypt, out of slavery, led them up the mountain, or he went up the mountain, Mount Sinai. And he received the commandments, the law, what it means to be this people of God. And Jesus goes up the mountain and delivers to the people this Sermon on the Mount. In Luke's story, it's a Sermon on the Plain. But the mountain's important for Matthew. And there, right at the start of this Sermon on the Mount, are the Beatitudes. 8 little statements, indicative statements of what blessing is. In the world in which we live, where there is so much emphasis put on accumulation and wealth, power and status, having more and having better, the more we've got, the more luxury, the more experiences, the more things we can do and accumulate, the more blessed we believe we are, or we're told we are. And yet Jesus reverses this. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Those who know they are not whole and full within themselves, who can't make it alone but need others and ultimately need this grace of God, who are poor in spirit and reach out to the one who can bring life to them. Blessed are those who mourn, those who hold not just their own pain and anguish, but that of those around them in the world. M. Scott Peck, the psychiatrist that wrote The Road Less Travelled and other books, speaks of the healthiness of some depression. He says some people are so gentle and so deeply connected with life and people. They feel the pain and the suffering of others and the world, and they hold it within them. We have people in the church who pray in that way, who hold the pain of others, the struggles of others in prayer. Blessed are those who mourn. And another one is blessed are those who are pure in heart. Blessed are those who are humble, those who are not arrogant, who recognise the limitations of themselves and their need for others and their sharing of life with one another. Over and against the narcissistic megalomaniacs and dictators who run much of our world and have no self-awareness but are so self-centered, the Trumps and Putins of this world. Blessed are those who are pure in heart and seek what is good and right and true and deep and gentle and beautiful. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for what is right, for justice, and who work for it, who advocate and live and strive for a just and fair world, but do it in a way that's not violent in rhetoric or physical violence. People like Martin Luther King Jr. and Gandhi and many, many others who stand up for what is right. And when they do, the powers of the world will retaliate, as they did with Martin Luther King, with Gandhi, with Jesus. Blessed are the peacemakers, those who make peace, who put themselves into the place of conflict and tension and make peace through reconciliation and forgiveness and conversation and relationship. Blessed are those who are merciful, who reach out with mercy to others, who look at the other, who is different, who not in fear or judgment, but reach out in mercy and love. And blessed are those who are persecuted because they do live in this way of Jesus. Blessed are those who are persecuted for doing the right thing, as Jesus himself was. Because when we live in this way, there is flourishing. There is flourishing amongst those who are little ones, the impoverished, the poor, the sick, the struggling, the outcast, the weak, those, most of us, who are yearning for something more and long for peace. There is a flourishing, and when we all flourish like that, those who are in control, those who have power, those who have might, those who control things and benefit from that control, lose some of their control and they fight back. They won't allow love and justice and peace to reign because it weakens their power and their control. And we're invited into this way of life that is truly blessed. And it means some sense of letting go of our need to be in control, to be humble, poor in spirit, of reaching out in love for those who need help, those who mourn and those who are merciful, those who are peacemakers, making peace, those who hunger and thirst for righteousness and justice, the pure in heart. When we reach out in these ways, we will find our life enriched, as will others, and we'll find ourselves as part of a community of love and grace. In one of the great Old Testament prophets, the prophet asks, what does the Lord require? What ultimately does God want of me? But to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with God. This is the way of life. It's countercultural, it's radical, it takes courage, but it's the way of life for our world. It will bring hope and peace to people and to the very earth itself. This is the way of Jesus.